Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel IGCSE Biology Help. In today's video, I'm going to be solving the paper 2 extended. This is from the October-November 2023, variant 2. Make sure to subscribe to my channel and like my videos to receive more content like this. Let's start solving. So question number 1 says, which processes are characteristics of all living organism? So we have to be choosing from Mrs. Gren, which is all characteristics of living organisms, which is stuff that all living things should do. This one stands for movement, respiration, sensitivity, growth, reproduction, excretion, and nutrition. So we have to choose something from the things that I just listed. So we're going to be choosing respiration and excretion, which is going to be C. Number 2 says, using the binomial system, the Arctic fox is called Vulpes lacopus. Which row is correct? So we know that the first name is actually the genus because it is in capital letters and it's also italic. And the second one is actually the species, so our answer is going to be B. Number 3, which feature is found in viruses? Of course, this is the protein coat. Number 4, which features are processed by all plant cells? So all plant cells must have a cell wall, but not all of them can have chloroplast because some of them are root hair cells, for example, that are cells under the ground. They are in the roots, so they don't really need chloroplast because they don't do photosynthesis because they are not exposed to sunlight. So our answer is going to be B. Number 5, the length of a bacterium in the diagram is 50 millimeters. The magnification of the diagram is 5000. What is the actual length? So over here, we can notice that in the question, it is written in millimeters and the answers are in micrometers. So we know that 1 millimeter equals to 1000 micrometers. So you're going to be answering the question, but keep in mind that you're going to be dividing by 1000 or multiplying by 1000 to get the answer in micrometers. So as I explained in my paper 6 videos, you have a triangle called IAM. The I stands for image, and the A stands for actual size, and the M stands for magnification. So you're going to be dividing the image size, which is 50 millimeters over here, and the actual size is needed. So you're going to be dividing also 5000 because we've got the image size and we got the magnification, so you only need the A, which is the actual size. So you're going to be dividing over 5000. You're going to get 0.01 millimeter. Of course, you're going to be multiplying by 1000 because you're going to be converting from millimeters to micrometers, and when you do that, you're going to get 10. So your answer is going to be B, which is 10 micrometers. Number 6, the diagram shows an experiment to investigate osmosis in living cells. What happens to the volumes of water and the sugar solution after 12 hours? So over here we can see that we have a potato and there's water over here in a glass dish which has concentrated sugar solution. So we know that osmosis moves from high concentration to low concentration. So the volume of water will actually go from the high concentration, there's a high water potential over here, so it's going to be moving to the low water potential over here because it's concentrated. So the volume will decrease and the volume of sugar solution will increase because the water will move from up here and it will move to the sugar solution down there. So our answer is going to be A. 7, which statements about active transport are correct? Number 1 says it transports particles from a low concentration to a higher concentration. This is correct. 2 says it always transports particles into cells. Actually, this is an incorrect statement. Sometimes it is used for other things. 3 says it involves protein molecules in the cell membrane. This is correct. These are actually called carrier cells. 4 says it uses energy for respiration. Yes, because this is a process that uses energy and it is not passive like osmosis and diffusion. So our answer is going to be B. 8, which row identifies the chemical elements in proteins? In protein, we have carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, and as well as nitrogen. Nitrogen is only found in proteins, so our answer is going to be A. Number 9, the table shows some large biological molecules and some smaller biological molecules. Which rows correctly pair large molecules with the smaller molecules used to make them? So over here in number 1, it says that cellulose is basically made from glucose. This is correct. And it says, number 2 says, oil is made from amino acids. This is incorrect. Fats are made from 3 fatty acids and 1 glycerol, so this is incorrect. Glycogen is made from glucose. This is correct. Protein is made from ethanol. This is incorrect. So our answer is going to be B. Number 10, the graph shows the results of an experiment to investigate the rate of respiration in an organism in different environmental temperatures. What explains the increase in the rate of respiration between 10 degrees and 30 degrees? So over here between 10 and 30, there was an increase, there was a significant increase actually. And the rate of respiration was increasing as the temperature increases, and then it declines after 30 over here, and then it reaches its lowest rate, which is at 40. So you can say that A says the enzymes are denaturing. This is actually incorrect because they are actually increasing the rate. And if they are denaturing, then the enzymes will not work at all. There will be no rate of respiration. Now B says there are more frequent effective collisions between enzyme and substrate molecules. This is actually correct because there is more successful collisions between the enzyme and substrate because it's reaching its optimum temperature. So as we reach for the optimum temperature, there will be more frequent and successful collisions. So this explains the increase in the rate of respiration. So our answer is going to be B. Now for C, it says there are fewer enzyme substrate complexes formed. This is actually the opposite. There is more enzyme substrate complexes formed because there is an increase in the rate of respiration. And D says there is less kinetic energy. Of course, this is incorrect. 11. The diagram shows how the rate of photosynthesis varies with light intensity. The 4 curves show different conditions of temperature and carbon dioxide concentration. What limits the rate of photosynthesis at point P? So over here we can see that point P, it's over here, there is actually light intensity, there is light reaching to the plant, so light intensity is not a problem. But the problem is that it has the lowest temperature. There are other plants that have 30 degrees and this one has 20. So this is not really the optimum temperature, as we can see, and also there is the lowest concentration of carbon dioxide. Other plants get high concentrations, 0.2, and this one got 0.1. And also, if we can see over here, the one that has the highest temperature and the highest carbon dioxide concentration, it got the highest rate of photosynthesis. So we can see that the problem is with the carbon dioxide and the temperature, so our answer is going to be C. 12. The diagram shows a cell with groups of bacteria around its edge. The bacteria have moved to areas of high oxygen concentration. Which processes in the cell causes the bacteria to form these groups? So you can see that there is actually like bacteria growing around in areas where there is high oxygen. So this indicates that there is actually photosynthesis going on. There is oxygen production, and also this cell can looks like a palisade mesophyll cell. So it is actually photosynthesis. So our answer is going to be B. 13. The diagram shows the teeth in the lower jaw of a human. Which tooth is a premolar? So premolars are actually located in this area around here. So they are like in front of the molar teeth, which are at the back over here. This is actually the incisor. So our answer is going to be A. 14. Some medicines are made into tablets which are coated in a starch-like substance. The coating protects the medicine from the effects of gastric juice. Which enzyme digests the coating and what is used by this action? So we know that if there is starch, then you need to break it down using amylase, not lipase, because lipase is for lipids. So C and D are incorrect. Now let's see, the products of amylase are actually simple reducing sugars, not fatty acids. So our answer is going to be B. 15. The diagram shows a villus. The arrows show the direction of flow within the vessels associated with the villus. Which vessel carries blood to the liver? So actually this is going to be D, because in this area we have the hepatic portal vein. So our answer, of course, is going to be D. 16. From which part of a leaf does most water evaporate during transpiration? So this is actually the spongy mesophyll cells, because they have the most air around them. So there is the most evaporation over there. And so our answer is going to be C. 19. The photograph shows a cross-section through a sunflower stem. What is the name and function of the tissue labeled Z? So this is actually the xylem, because the xylem is the inner tissue, and the other one over this one is actually the phloem. So xylem, as we all know, is for the transportation of mineral ions and water. The transportation of sucrose is actually for the phloem. So our answer is going to be C. 18. The photomicrograph shows some blood cells. What is the function of the cell P? Cell P is actually a lymphocyte, which is for producing antibodies. So our answer is going to be D. 19. The diagram shows the blood vessels associated with the liver. What are the blood vessels labeled X, Y, and Z? So X is coming out of the liver. So this is actually going to be hepatic vein, because it is carrying blood away from the liver. So this is filtered blood as well from the liver. So Y is actually going to be hepatic artery, because it carries from the aorta. So we know that the aorta has hepatic artery. It has arteries that are connected to all of our organs in our body, so that they can provide oxygenated blood. Now Z is actually going to be the hepatic portal vein, because it comes from the small intestine. So our answer is going to be C. 20. When a pathogen enters the blood, the immune system uses different mechanisms to destroy the pathogen. The diagram shows one of these mechanisms. Which row describes the structures involved? So actually X is going to be over here. This one is actually it indicates or demonstrates an antibody, and Y is actually the antigen. So the X is actually made by lymphocytes, as I just said in a previous question. So our answer is going to be C. 21. What is the composition of expired air compared with inspired air? So expired air has more carbon dioxide than oxygen. So you're going to say that there's an increase in the carbon dioxide and a decrease in the oxygen, and also there's an increase in the water vapor. So our answer is going to be D. 22. During exercise, receptors detect a change in the blood and cause the breathing rate to increase. Which change do the receptors detect, and where are they found in the body? So over here, we know that our breathing rate increases because there is higher carbon dioxide concentration in our blood. So this will cause the brain to actually react and try to increase the oxygen in the blood by increasing our breathing rate. So our answer is going to be A. 23. Yeast cells can convert glucose into alcohol and carbon dioxide. Which statement about this process is correct? So we know that this is actually fermentation, the process that they are talking about. So A says the alcohol produced can be used to make bread rise. This is actually incorrect. The carbon dioxide is used to make the bread rise. B says the carbon dioxide produced can be burnt as a biofuel. This is actually incorrect. It should be ethanol. C says the yeast cells are using oxygen for this process. This is actually incorrect. This is anaerobic respiration, which means that it does not use oxygen. Now D says the yeast cells are carrying out anaerobic respiration, so this is the correct answer. 24. What is the correct balanced equation for one type of respiration? So over here we can see that alcohol produces, this is actually incorrect, because it should be that the glucose is broken down to produce alcohol and carbon dioxide. This is incorrect. Now that also this one is incorrect, because alcohol does not start respiration. It should be glucose. And also, so over here we can see that there's glucose on the left side. So this one is actually the correct balanced equation, not this one. Not the other one, D, because water is not produced. It is actually carbon dioxide. So our answer is going to be C. 25. Which row shows an organ and the substance it excretes? So the bladder, it does not excrete water, actually. B says kidney, it excretes ions. This is actually a correct answer. 26. The diagram shows a reflex arc in a human nervous system. The person's finger has just made contact with a sharp object. Which part is the motor neuron? So actually it is going to be C, because it is closer to the muscle over here. 27. Which hormones can increase blood glucose concentration? This is actually glucagon. We know that glucagon increases the blood glucose, and also adrenaline because it is released in fight or flight reactions. So actually it's going to be B. 28. What is defined as a substance that is taken into the body and modifies or affects chemical reactions in the body? This is actually the definition of the word drug. 29. What is a disadvantage of sexual reproduction for a population in the wild? A says a reduction in genetic diversity. This is actually not caused by sexual reproduction. This is caused by asexual reproduction. B says a decreased ability to adapt to changes in the environment. This is again not caused by sexual reproduction. C says a reduction in the reproduction if individuals are isolated. Yes, this is actually a disadvantage. So if there is like one female like animal that is trapped somewhere, and she won't be able to reproduce more animals because there is no mate around. So this is the only disadvantage of sexual reproduction, that they have to be close to each other. So C is our answer. 30. Pollen grains from a plant were placed onto the stigma of a flower of the same plant. The lengths of the pollen tubes were measured for 4 hours. The mean length of the style in the species is 2 millimeters. This was repeated using a pollen from a different plant. The results are shown. Which statements are correct? One says self-pollination does not lead to fertilization. Actually, this is correct because over here we can see that pollen from the same plant, there was so little of the mean length of the pollen tubes that actually increased compared to from a different plant. So the self-pollination does not lead to fertilization. This is correct, as we can see. Number 2, the difference in growth of the two types of pollen is an adaptation to increase variation. This is actually again a correct statement. Number 3 says the pollen tubes from different plant grow fastest between 2 hours and 4 hours. So actually this is incorrect because over here from 2 hours to 4 hours it was increasing this way, but we can see that the fastest increase was from 1.5 until 2 because it was more steep. So if it's, for example, like that, then it is like a higher, we know that if something or a graph is steeper, then there is higher rate. So steep means that it is like that, it is actually vertical like that. So the more vertical the line is, the higher the rate is. So actually this one is more vertical compared to that one. This one is almost horizontal. So our answer is going to be B, which is 1 and 2 only. 31. Which hormones are released by the placenta during pregnancy? This is actually progesterone and estrogen. 32. Why are cells in the pancreas the only body cells that produce insulin? A says all of the genes in the nucleus of a cell in the pancreas are expressed. This is actually incorrect. 2 says other body cells do not have the gene for insulin. This is incorrect because all of our body cells have the gene, but they are not expressed. So they are only expressed in certain areas. C says the cells in the pancreas have twice as many genes as other body cells. This is incorrect. D says the gene for insulin is only expressed by the cells in the pancreas, just like I said in the previous options, that there is the gene for insulin every cell in our body in the same amount, but they are not expressed, only they are expressed in the pancreas. So our answer is going to be D. 33. Which statement is correct? A says mitosis always produces offspring that are homozygous. This is actually incorrect. B says mitosis produces cells that are genetically identical. This is correct because mitosis produces like similar daughter cells. So meiosis is actually the one that produces cells that are not genetically identical. They are producing haploid cells. So our answer is going to be B. 34. What is the sources of genetic variation in populations? 1 says meiosis. This is actually correct because meiosis produces haploid cells that are different. 2 says random mating. This is actually correct again because there's a chance of different genes being like mixed up, like not everyone is the same, everyone is unique because of random mating. Three, random fertilization, again this is correct. So all of these result in animals or individuals being unique, so our answer is going to be A. 35, which row shows features of xerophytes that reduces water loss? Green color from the chlorophyll, this is actually not something that necessarily reduces water loss. So we're going to be choosing from C and D for now. Now, leaves reduced to spines, this is actually a correct thing because it reduces the surface area. Presence of stomata, again, this is not something that necessarily will reduce water loss. Thick cuticle, this is correct because it actually helps to reduce the diffusion that is done from the cuticle area, because there is higher surface area, so it makes it harder for the diffusion to actually occur because there's many layers. So our answer is going to be C. 36, the diagram shows a food chain. It starts with a tree, insect, blue tit, and hawk. Which statement about a pyramid based on this food chain is correct? A says, drawn as a pyramid of biomass, the hawk would have the largest bar size. So this is actually incorrect, because the largest biomass is actually from the tree, because it has the highest amount of energy. Drawn as a pyramid of energy, the tree would have the largest bar size. This is correct. Because of course we know that the tree or plants, they always have the producers, they always have the highest amounts of energy. 37, during the nitrogen cycle, which processes release nitrogen gas into the air? This is actually denitrification. 38, red green color blindness is sex-linked characteristic caused by recessive allele. Which prediction can be made about the children of a woman who is colorblind and a man with normal vision? So I'm going to be assuming that the man is actually a carrier for the disease, which means that he is heterozygous, and the woman is recessive, so she will have double recessive. So let's cross them together. So the first child will be also a carrier, so like that, heterozygous, and then the other child will be recessive like the mother, and the third child may be also carrier, and the last child will be recessive. So we have a 50% chance of being colorblind and another 50% chance of being a carrier or having normal vision. So A says boys will be colorblind and the girls will have a 50% chance of being colorblind. This is incorrect because like this is not a 50% chance that the child will be colorblind or not colorblind. This is actually going to be a 75% chance, so this is not our answer. B says the boys will be colorblind and the girls will have normal vision. So actually our answer is going to be B, because sex-linked characteristic, it will actually like be, there's a higher chance of the boys being colorblind than the girls because the father is a carrier. So our answer is going to be B. 39, one method of conserving fish stocks is to have minimum mesh size for fishing nets. How is the mesh size chosen to conserve a particular fish species? A says the holes in the net must be small enough to catch only young fish. So this is not actually conservation. You're actually reducing the population, because the young fish should grow up and increase the population size by again producing a reproduction again. B says the holes in the net must be small enough to catch all fish old enough to reproduce. This is actually, again, not conservation. You're actually reducing the fish species because there will be lower amount of reproduction. C says the holes in the net must be large enough to catch some fish of all ages. Again, this is an incorrect answer. If you're going to catch all ages, then you might catch a lot of young fish, or you're going to catch a lot of old fish. This is not a good thing to catch all ages, because you may again reduce reproduction. D says the holes in the net must be large enough to allow young fish to escape. Actually, this is the correct answer, because you have to allow young fish to escape so that they can grow up and reproduce again. And so our answer is going to be D. 40, the diagram shows how a human gene can be inserted into a bacterium. Number 1 says a gene is removed from a human chromosome, and number 2 says a bacterium plasmid is removed and cut. A human gene is inserted into the plasmid. Number 4 shows that there is reproduction of the cell. Which row shows the correct processes at 1, 2, 3, and 4? So we know that in number 1 and 2, it is cut, the bacterium plasmid and the gene removed from the human DNA is cut using a restriction enzyme, and it has to be the same restriction enzyme that is used in the human cell and also in the bacterium cell. So for now, the answer is going to be B, which is number 1 and 2. Now, using ligase enzymes, this is actually over here in number 3, which is used to bind the bacterial plasmid with the piece of DNA, the gene removed from the human chromosome. And also number 4, multiplication and reproduction. It is actually over here, we can see that it was 1 cell and then it became 2. So our answer is going to be B. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to subscribe and like so you can receive more content like this, and good luck with your exam.